What's happening, everyone? TomGorian here. Welcome to episode number 19 of the F124 Alpine to Glory. Today we are here for race number 3 of the season 2 of the Alpine to Glory in Australia, in Melbourne, the Australian Grand Prix. We come off a victory. As you can see, high inflation for the R&D. A pack that came in for season 2. We just have over 1,000 resource points. Unfortunately, we can't really do anything as far as upgrades until maybe I'd say the next episode in Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix. We have a bit of a gap between Australia and also China in Shanghai. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe for more F124 career mode content and also league racing as well as we approach the fall of 2024. There is the performance update. We are slap bang in the middle as far as car performance. However, if we get one or two major upgrades to the chassis, maybe a major aerodynamic upgrade, we can really be in the heart as far as having the fastest car. As you can see, we just collected our trophy for winning in Saudi Arabia, and now it's time for the Australian Grand Prix. We've just had a durability upgrade as well for Pierre Gasly, and now we are doing our specialist objectives. Average your corner speed, we're going to finish a position better than your teammate in the race. Complete 7 laps without any penalties and warnings. And then for the strategy, we're going to do perfect 2 practice programs for the entire race weekend. There is some of the driver details. As you can see, my contract right there, 14 races to go, and just a bit of an update. I feel pretty good going into this race simply because I did a league race around here a couple of days ago. Here's some of the ratings. As you can see, we are at 84 rated overall as we head in towards the third race of season number 2.
Hello everyone, it is time for qualifying at one of our very favourite stops on the calendar. It's Albert Park and we're about to take the cars right up to the edge.
Apologies about that edit. I haven't done a career mode race in quite some time, unfortunately. But getting to the point, I feel pretty good around the circuit simply because I did a league race around here a couple of days ago. Highlights will be out on Saturday for the RFL Australian Grand Prix. I actually had a bit of a killer setup, so I used that in this race, and pretty much with this car was on rails. As you can see, green sector 1, sector 2, and we're going to go purple in sector 3. Across the line we go with just over 9 minutes to go. A 15-1 already in this career mode race, well, qualifying. Pretty much for context, the pole position for my RFL Australia League race was a 15.7, so this career mode car is already 6 times quicker than the standard Alpine equal performance car on F124. So, getting ready for the final lap in qualifying, you want to nail turn 1. Turn 1 is probably the most important corner of the entire track. You go too wide, you're going to lose at least a tenth and a half as you proceed in the lap. But as you can see, purple sector 1, and we are absolutely flying. We slightly track extend there. That's turn 6, I do believe. That's turn 6, the fast right-hander. And now as we enter the back straight of sector 2, and we are pretty much just over 2.5 temps up, downshift into 7th, and downshift into 6th gear as you try and get the best revs as we enter the tight and twisty final sector. Brake just before the 50-meter one into 3rd gear, then slam on the throttle for best traction, and as you can see, we are just under 4 temps off. We're going to nail this final corner here to try and get another 2 temps, and as you can see, we nailed that absolutely perfectly. We went slightly wide on the previous lap. Stay to the left hand side, across the line we go. I think that's a 14.5. However, what it is, it's pole position for the Australian Grand Prix. So we take our first pole position in Melbourne, Australia, the first pole position of the season, and as you can see, 14.5. Verstappen did a 14.7. So our car with this setup is 1.2 seconds quicker than the RFL League Racing pole position, which is absolutely mad. Gasly did a 15.5, so that is insane. I've went to 106 for this race, and as you can see, Verstappen 2 tenths off, but everyone else was clearly in the mud, especially Pierre Gasly. Nico Hulkenberg in the Haas 16.2, 1.6 seconds off the pace. So clearly this car is on steroids with this setup, and I like our chances in the race. Vesti 14th, and yeah, without further ado, it's time to convert.
It's been a tough couple of years for this venue. We really missed Albert Park. It is a warm welcome back to the Australian Grand Prix. It's Albert Park circuit, 3.2 miles of bumpy city streets. We have changed the turns at 1, 3, 6 and 13. They have all been widened. We've got rid of the chicane at 9 and 10. That is now a flat-out right-hander. It's a new look that made its debut in 2022. New life into an old classic. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Thomas lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who will start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Russell, Leclerc, Norris, Perez, Gasly, Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Vesti, Ocon, Joe, Magnussen, Bottas, Tsunoda, and Nico Hulkenberg rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. Hello everyone, welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Shakes, and we say hello to Naomi Schiff. Well, there's all sorts of rumours going about in the paddock at the moment, but it looks like they're staying loyal to their team. Good move, do you think?
It is a really interesting scenario. So this could mean two things. It could mean that they may have a better offer, or they've decided to stay with their team. So I really wonder today if we can tell by the driving style in the race whether they'll be showing off to maybe get someone's attention, or if they're going to take it a little bit more easy because they've got a secure situation going for them.
Welcome to the grid here in Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix. We are starting on pole position. We don't really need to look at grid positions or anything. I don't think there was any grid penalties for the race. We're going to go down in fuel to 1.5 laps of fuel for this race. The strategy is a simple one, stop from mediums to hards. That is the meta on F1 24, unless you've got pretty much some type of steroid OP tyre wear upgrades. But however, everyone's starting on mediums. Let's do this.
The formation lap gets underway, and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure their car is ready for the battle once the lights go out. As the cars come back to the grid to line up for the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can, and they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that within the points.
So here we go. On the end of the formation lap for the Australian Grand Prix. If you are liking the series, then leave a like as it helps the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and also turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. We are nearly there to 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully we can finish Season 2 by the end of the year. So if you subscribe to the channel, I would massively be appreciative as we get ready for the start of the Australian Grand Prix. Let's see if we can go back-to-back victories from Saudi to Australia for 5 red lights. Lights out, away we go in Melbourne. Verstappen gets a good start. We get a mediocre start, I'd say, as Verstappen takes the lead. He has the inside line in towards turn 1. Hamilton tries to have a go in towards turn 1, but Verstappen has absolutely donked on us in towards turn 1, and Verstappen takes the lead. We are in second place. Hamilton in third. Leclerc and Alonso in P5 as we try and close the gap on the Red Bull. Verstappen got an excellent start on pretty much the start procedure there. We slightly bogged down on the revs there, and we've lost position. However, it's not over because it's only the second lap, and DRS is enabled on the midway point of lap number 2, as we're going to use our slipstream, DRS and ERS round the outside in towards turn 9, and that is a move of a race to take the lead back in the Australian Grand Prix. However, there is some cons with this setup that I am using, that I did use in the RFL League race. It's very over rotation. It does rely on a lot of rotation, and there is a difference between oversteer and over rotation. You want to have more over rotation than oversteer, because over rotation means you get better handling of the car when compared to oversteer, which means that you're getting too much steer angle of the car. You want more over rotation, which means pretty much you use less steering lock and it has less tyre wear compared to oversteer, which you don't expect. Lap 5, we got our first objective of the race to use ERS overtake mode for 1.4 seconds each lap. Spoiler alert, we don't do it on this lap, unfortunately. However, these first 9 or 10 laps for Verstappen, it's pretty much swap and change between me and Max Verstappen as we exchange the race lead. And on 106 difficulty, I couldn't shake off the Red Bull of Max Verstappen, and even this top 5 train of cars. Bit of contact on the rear left. Verstappen looks up though in towards, I think that's turn 11. And Verstappen has lost 2 positions, and now Lewis Hamilton, who's in the Mercedes. By the way, GGEA and Codemasters for not hard coding Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari like F1 Manager did. Hamilton is still in Mercedes in my save, and yeah, that is an L according to EA Sports. Lap 10, again we go around the outside of the Mercedes, not Ferrari, Mercedes driver, as we enter the lead of the Australian Grand Prix once again. And we're having to use a bit of our battery here as we now go on to lap 12, and we're just trying to follow Lewis Hamilton, and we can't really shake off this train of Leclerc, Verstappen, Alonso. But as you can see, we've already made a massive gap compared to, I think that's Lance Stroll in the background. I think he's swapping positions with Lando Norris in the McLaren, as we overtake Lewis Hamilton before lap 19, 6 laps before the objective window. And we are going to box this lap, our one and only stop from the mediums to the hard tyre compounds. And as you can see, just with the steering angle, I'm constantly having to slightly adjust and slightly overreact a bit to the over rotation of this setup that the setup does bring. It is quick, but it's definitely made for over rotation in medium to slow speed corners. 2.5 seconds pit lane stop time as we transition onto the hards. However, this moment definitely made our race. So as you can see, I am coming out the box. There is Frederick Vesti in the Williams. Vesti actually jumps Hamilton and Verstappen. However, we do get the jump on Vesti, and we were able to pull a 2.5 second gap simply because Vesti was holding off that little train of Verstappen and also Hamilton. Now 14 laps to go in Australia, and now we are in the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. We do have the fast lap, which was 17.4, and as you can see, crossed the line for our first actual lap, 17.8 here in Melbourne, Australia. Now as we transition to lap 17, I'm looking at the clouds and I asked for a weather update, and as you can see, we've got rain in 10 to 15 minutes, so hopefully we don't get impacted by the rain that's coming, which should be coming by the end of this race. Hopefully, if there's no safety cars, I mean, what am I talking about? There is no safety cars on F1 24 career mode. I've not seen one so far in this series. So if you've seen a safety car in your saves of career mode, let me know down in the comments below. However, we get our second objective of this race to achieve a lap time of a 1 minute 21.8. I mean, we're literally doing 17s. Well, pretty much mid 17s, low 18s on the hard tyres. And as you can see, across the line we go. We do a mid 18, and that is objective complete for that objective. As we approach lap 22, we are out in the lead, cruising by 5.5 seconds. All we have to do is bring the car home and maybe manage some fuel at the end, as we are on 0.4 laps of fuel. Carlos Sainz is out of the session. Speaking of out of the session, we are out of the Australian Grand Prix. Our energy store has failed on us, and that is a disaster. No wonder Renault are pulling out of the sport in 2026. They can't make a competent engine, and for the first time this season, our reliability has came back to haunt us.
It's always box office when this man's at the front. Max Verstappen takes the checkered flag.
Wow, that race really kept us on our toes with the ever-changing weather conditions. It is so unpredictable when you're in the car, with visibility being limited to know exactly what's going on. So the driver really made some great calls in this situation.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
Just like in Qatar last season, our reliability woes have came back to haunt us in Melbourne, Australia. Max Verstappen takes the win. A undeserving win, but that's the game. That's the game. Alonso in second, Hamilton in P3. So there must have been a safety car, or whatever the case. I don't know, but yeah, I didn't see because I was out of the race. GG, well done Renault for making a reliant and capable engine. Gasly scores 2 points. Yeah, that's a shame. We had the pace, we scored pole position, we were leading by 5.5 seconds, and our reliability has failed us. But that's that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next Alpine to Glory. In a bit.